You want to make more money as a remote sales professional. Like, you're taking all these calls on Zoom. You want to hit months where you're hitting 10K, 15K plus. I know because I was in the exact same position just this time last year, right? January 2024, I had a month where I ran, I believe, 10K. Then the next month, February, 18K, being my highest earning month in remote sales. And in the previous year, 2023, I was barely making anything. It was like 2K a month, 3K. It was shit. And I realized that there were two skills that every single sales pro, specifically in remote sales, needs to have in order to make money, in order to thrive, in order to find freedom. There's two things that you need, and I'm going to break them down, and I'm going to break down the why. And what I'll tell you is, if you're on an offer right now, or you're hopping between offers, whatever your situation is, and you want to perform at the best, which means, again, your performance as a remote sales pro is directly linked to your ability to make money, your ability to have freedom. If you want to create the life that you want, which is what we're in this for, we're not just in this to sell random shit for no fucking reason. We're here because we want to make money. We're here because we want to change our lives, because we want to give back to our families. There's two things that you must have. Because again, the bridge between you where you are now and the freedom that you want to have, which again is being a closer who's operating at a 15K or 20K per month mark, is going to be your skill set. But on the road to building a skill set, on the road to being the best, is two things, okay? We have fearlessness and we have diligence. Those are the two things that you need. Fearlessness and diligence, and I'm going to break them down to you here. We're going to go into detail. A lot of the sales pros that I train, a lot of the sales pros that I've placed, a lot of the businesses that I've consulted for, and the sales pros that I've seen and I've worked with, lack fearlessness. They operate under a high degree of fear, even if they don't realize it. A lot of sales pros think, oh, I can just be charismatic. I can just have a couple of nice conversations with people around me. I can just talk to the prospects and have a good conversation, and that means that I'll make money. There's a guy that I'm training right now. We're doing one-on-one, and great dude. He's charismatic. He's been in corporate before he left his job and went to remote sales. My guy Michael, and he's been in a position where he's a good communicator. He knows how to lead to a certain extent, but when he gets on a call, he's operating with a certain level of fear. And this is a guy who's going to make a lot of money. We just started training. We've been training for about 2 weeks now, and he's going to make a lot of money. Come March, he's going to be in a completely different place. But until this point, he's like stuck at 5-6 per month in commissions. And one of the things that we're working on, and it's not just him, I've worked on this with many other people, is the idea of fearlessness. You have to prioritize your desire to make money and your desire to actually close a deal over your desire to stay within your comfort zone. Do you hear the difference, right? Your desire to want to make money on a sales call and to close a deal has to be higher than your desire to stay within your comfort zone. In sales, especially remote sales, because you're talking to someone one-to-one over Zoom. It's a personalized conversation. You're sitting across from someone, and your goal is to literally take money out of their pockets and help them, of course. You're not trying to take money unethically, but you're here to help them. Here you go, Frank. I'll give this back to you guys. And one of the things that a lot of closers don't understand is that when you're guided by fear, when you're operating under a fear-centered reality, it prevents you from taking the actions, having the conversations, asking the right kinds of questions, handling objections, challenging prospects the way you need to, because fear is the thing controlling you. Right, fear is the thing that you're operating under. So a question that I always ask my people, and we ask the people we train, a question that I ask the closers that I work with, that I've mentored, that I've guided, is always, how much of your process right now and what you're doing, how you're communicating, how you're interacting with the world, how you're interacting with prospects, how much of that is guided by fear versus you just going into and having conversations that are tough, that are scary, that you know are going to lead to you making money. As an example, in objections, right? The first part of objections is easy, and as the way we teach it, buy in and double buy it. Hey, do you feel like we can help you? Yes. Okay, why do you feel like we can? Once you figure that out, the next thing is going to be actually having a tough conversation with someone to get them to make change, to put them in a position where they're not walking away from change, whether you're selling fitness, whether you're selling trading offers, whether you're selling a tax offer, whatever the offer is, whether you're selling mindset coaching, you're selling health coaching, right? Whatever it would be. When that person wants to walk away from a change, walk away from a decision that's going to benefit themselves or their business, it requires a degree of fearlessness for you to be able to rise above that fear that they have themselves and get them to a place where they would make change. And a lot of closers, and this may be you, I'm talking to you here, I'm giving this to you because I think it probably is you by the fact you're watching this. A lot of closers operate under a certain degree of fear, which prevents them from having the conversations that would be necessary to help someone make change, right? And then you look at your closing numbers and you wonder why you're closing at 20%. You're like, I know I can be a 30% closer. I know I could be at 40%. I know that I could make 15K plus per month, but you're not. And why are you not? The reason is because of fear, because you're operating under fear conditioning. It's present in your tone. It's present in the way you ask questions. As I'll give an example, we ran a role play in our community this Thursday. I'm shooting this on Saturday, so we ran a role play 2 days ago. And I was running one with a guy, and he said, I'm dealing with prospects, or I just had a prospect who was really, really tough. This guy had a lot of ego. He was talking about how good he was doing, and he doesn't have any problems. And this is a real estate coaching offer. And he was like, this guy said he had no problems. He was talking about how he's making money, all these things. And I didn't even need to hear the call. I didn't listen to the call because, he hadn't brought it to the training session. But I said, brother, the reason this is happening, and it was correct, the reason this is happening is because you're allowing your prospect's ego to guide the call. So when you ask a question like, in terms of income for the business, what do you guys want to be making month over month? Like, what's your goal? And we ran through this on a role play. I'll give you an example of what we did and how we corrected this live. I would ask him this question, and his answer, as the prospect would be, to the guy I was training, was like, oh yeah, I mean, we haven't even thought of how much money we're trying to get to, but we're doing really, really well right now, man, because we're at 40K a month, right? Let's say like a idea like that. The prospect's saying we're doing really, really well. The correct response for you as a closer is to ignore the fact that they're doing well, not fully ignore it. You may address it just a little bit, and then move on to the question you asked and get the question freaking answered. You have to get your questions answered. It's a rule in sales. You have to get the question you asked answered. If you're operating under a degree of fear, what's going to happen? You're not going to get the question answered. There we go. And that's a problem, right? So what I need from you guys in sales, and what I did with him on the live call, is the way it sounded on the role play, and I'll tell you how this applies to you in a second. What we did was, we role played it, and I was like, hey brother, that's really awesome you're doing that, but we're here to make change and to actually get better and to make even more, because I know that what you're operating at now, 25 to 40K, is just a baseline. Like, there's way more that you could do. So I'm curious, for you in the business, where do you guys want to be at ultimately? Like, let's say over the next 6 months, where would you want to be? What would make you happy? There we go, right? I'm setting a standard. And the reason I'm able to set that standard and force the prospect, into that conversation, is because I'm operating under a certain degree of fearlessness, where it means nothing to me that the prospect has ego. It means nothing to me that they're being challenging. It means nothing to me that they're not playing ball. Because my ability to stick to my guns and to take the call to exactly where it needs to be is greater than my fear of making the prospect uncomfortable or having an uncomfortable conversation. Do you see it? Do you see the method? Do you see the madness? Do you see the way it works? And what I found is that a lot of closers aren't doing this nowadays. A lot of closers are performing with very, very low standards for themselves, for their prospects, because they're guided by fear. And the last part of this, the second piece, and this is something that our people do so well in the people we train, is diligence. Diligence is the second point. And this is more than just a sales principle. This is a self-development principle that applies across multiple disciplines and multiple arenas. It applies with the gym. It applies with whether you're learning fighting, learning sales, learning dating skills, like whatever it is that you'd be learning, communication, learning leadership, diligence. You can't be lazy in remote sales. You cannot be lazy. And people that I've trained that like are close to me have seen this. They've seen this in their own lives. Like, if you are lazy, what's going to happen is the game is going to spit you out. It's going to chew you up and spit you out. A lot of sales pros who hear about high ticket sales from YouTube, because it's presented to you as it's easy, right? It's like, oh, there's this way to make money online. It sounds easy. So what happens with a lot of sales pros is they're presented this easy sounding, cheeky little industry where it's like, oh, just hop on calls for an hour and make money. So they come into the industry not expecting that, hey, I'm going to have to do the work. I'm going to have to push myself harder than I've ever pushed myself in my life. They don't come in with this. And then they get smacked. They get on calls and they get destroyed. Sitting across from trust me, I know this on the dating offer. I was running a dating offer for about a year. talking to some dude, some 60-year-old lawyer who got divorced, who's mad that he's on this call with me and I'm selling him dating coaching, right? Like, that requires me to be able to do that over and over 5 times a day and close 40% plus of these guys and take their money when the offer costs $7,500, $6,500, I think it was. The ability to do that requires diligence and respecting the game. You can't do this while lazy. Like, a lazy person will get chewed out and spit out in the game. It will not work for you. And the game I'm referring to is sales. The game I'm referring to is the game is like mastery over your sales skill set. It's mastery over your ability to collect cash consistently and do it at scale. Do it 50 to 70 times a month on calls, or 80 times a month on calls, right? I just shared on my Instagram. You can check me out there at The Real Tim Ray. I just shared on my Instagram a screenshot of one of our clients, our girl Valeria, who had a day just happened. She had no calls on her calendar. She went out and did aggressive follow-up, didn't just sit back and collected $6,900 in cash. She's going to get paid $700. She made that in a day, without any calls on her calendar because she wasn't lazy. She's one of the ones I know who respects the game. She's diligent. She's hungry. She respects the game at the highest levels. And she is on pace to be a closer who's making 10, 15K per month. She's new to the game, so she's building it up. She's stacking it. She's around that, 3 to 5K mark right now because she just got in the game. But she will be there. And there are others. Charlie, who I reference a lot on this channel, one of my guys, one-on-one with me, he respects the game. Joe respects the game, right? Like, people on our team respecting the game. And I'm telling you, it's going to spit you out. You'll be spit out of this industry, and you'll get in and you'll wonder, you'll fast forward like a year from now, you'll look at the end of 2025, new year, 2026, you'll be like, what happened? I had that nice little stint in remote sales and I thought I was going to make money. I guess it just didn't work out for me. It's because you didn't respect the game, because you were lazy. Straight up, real talk. You have to always want to learn. You have to be relentless. And one of the reasons I was able to make my mark in the remote sales space so quickly, faster than a lot of my peers, is because I was more relentless and I wanted to learn more than they did. And not all of them, of course. There's a bunch of guys that I respect in this game. Shout out Lewis, shout out Caden, shout out Ishmael, guys that I came up with, that I trained with, that were in the space with me. They're all making money. They've made it, right? But you have to always want to learn. You have to always want to master the skill set, and it doesn't just apply to sales, it applies to everything else in your life. But sales is one vehicle that's going to directly change your life and directly give you the life that you want. So I just see it a lot. I see a lot of people coming in wanting things handed to them. They're lazy, and the game spits them out. So I'm telling you this right now. If you're a closer, if you are a remote sales professional and you want to make money, you've gotten on your first offer, or you're in the game right now, you're on an offer, and you find your income capped, you're hitting 5K a month, 6K a month. Yeah, it's cool. But you're like, I know I could do more. Start to respect the game. Tap into the fearlessness. Tap into the lion within you. That person who's out of the haze, who's taking action, who is crushing it. And treat sales as your own self-development exercise. And that will make you money, okay? Join our school community for free trainings. We have, it's not even like free training. It's free, but it's like an entire course on objection handling, leadership, and communication skills. We give away everything. It's crazy. We give everything away, and you can come train with me every Thursday, and I'll push you hard. I'll go into objections with you. We'll talk leadership. We'll role play. I'll give you everything I've got. I don't hold anything back. It's just you don't have as much of my time because you wouldn't be paying me, so it's free, right? So it's free. Come in and train. You have nothing to lose. I'll take the shisha. Come on in and train. School.com/quantumlevel. Literally the best training material that you will see online for free in remote sales. There's nothing like this online at this level in terms of giving everything away. I just give it all to you. There's no like secrets, okay? I want you to make money. I want you to find freedom. I want you to change your life, because I did last year. It was the biggest year of my life, and this can be your year too, okay? Goodbye. I will see you on the next one.